Hello, viewers, and welcome to another episode of the GI Huddle. Tim Pool here, editor of Gambling Insider, and I'm with Adam Gros, owner of Gamblineers. Adam, thanks for joining us again.
Hello, thanks for having me.
No problem at all. We had you on Affiliate Con before. Now we're on the Huddle, but we're still talking affiliates. We're still talking crypto and crypto casinos because that's what you specialize in. To start off, I wanted to ask quite a broad question. Recently, there have been some, perhaps you could say, negative developments when it comes to crypto in general. But at the same time, some people might look at it and think there could be maybe a positive market next year. And just to point out, we're not advising anyone on how to trade or what to buy or what to sell. But what's your view on the kind of crypto at the moment, how the recent developments may have affected the sector and the gambling aspect of it as well?
Yeah. Okay, so maybe first of all, you always have to be careful about these speculations because you can always find a guy who says, yeah, we're closing in on the bear market, buy now and sell, I don't know, next year or whatever, or vice versa. I mean, I don't know, it's going to drop next month, so make sure to sell now. So you always got to sort of make your own opinion and be aware that whichever decision you're making is your own risk at the end of the day. But yeah, when it comes to the market, I think it's sort of a lucky or unlucky coincidence, actually, because we are, as we like to say, in a crypto winter right now. So, the prices are dropping. It's sort of a bearish market altogether. This was, again, some people expected it, some not. It's a part of so it's a part of a consequence from still from the COVID maybe and the whole global economy right now. And now the recent FTX tragedy, so to say, so the exchange that got bankrupt put another sort of a black spot on the whole market and the people trusting in crypto thing. Basically, the part that makes me or that keeps me optimistic is the fact that the things that have happened, especially these latest things concerning FTX exchange, are not because there's anything wrong with crypto just by itself. Crypto is still safe, it's still reliable, it's still transparent. The blockchain is built, especially Bitcoins. It's the prime sort of crypto. It's an amazing discovery. It's an amazing innovation, and I still believe that we've got some interesting years to come. What will come out of it? For example, last year, or actually no, this year was an interesting year for NFTs, non-fungible tokens. I think this also kind of lost a bit of interest right now because it's the bearish market, but we'll see where these things go. But basically, the main problem about this latest crash was that the exchange wasn't exactly functioning fairly, to be honest. They were using the funds from their clients in a way that they shouldn't. They lost some of the funds. They lost coverage. They lost the backing. And when people tried to withdraw their funds, just to be safe, they discovered that they couldn't. Then the attention got to the media, and everything one thing led to another, and the exchange had to declare bankruptcy. But at the end of the day, I think it is a bad thing because it left a black spot on the market. People lost, at least some people lost their faith, so to say, in crypto or in exchanges themselves. But on the other hand, I think that this just shown that the crypto market, just like any other market in the economy, maybe really does need at least some sort of regulation so these things don't happen. We are talking about money and assets after all, and it's not the first time when somebody lost everything just overnight. So I think at the end, this just shows that when something like this happens, it's always sad for the people involved, especially for
Mm-hmm.
clients who didn't have their fingers in the marmalade. Is that the correct expression? You know, they weren't doing anything wrong,
Yeah.
but they sort of got robbed anyway. But the good thing is that events like this will sort out the bad guys from the good guys,
Mm-hmm.
to put it that way. I mean, it shows which exchanges, which companies run in the way they're supposed to and which don't. And those
Yeah.
that don't, they go bankrupt, they get lawsuits and whatnot. They basically get removed from the market, and at the end, the players who stay are either okay. It's still sort of a gamble because you can always say it's always a matter of time before we catch the next one doing something wrong. That's true. But at the end of the day, the bigger ones, the bigger brands, the more reliable brands, to put it that way, um, will will survive this. Will stay in the market because they are doing something right. They are not. They are operating in a white hat sort of way. So
Yeah.
I think sort of a message for people, or a takeout from all of this, is to not to give up on crypto by itself just because one of the big players did something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've all
Yeah.
seen influencers and whatnot doing all sorts of things on Twitter, and you know that just because someone did something wrong, or said that something will happen and then didn't, or sold, I don't know, a lot of Bitcoin just to make the prices drop, that doesn't mean that the crypto itself is bad. It's just people doing weird stuff to build their portfolio. And now, whether that's a good or bad way, it's a matter of opinion. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically, yeah, that's the basically that's I think that's sort of the main thing that was happening, or the main takeaway of all this. I'm being optimistic, and maybe one other insight that might be interesting is there's always this debate which cryptocurrencies are indeed decentralized, right? I
Yeah.
mean, Bitcoin was the first one. Bitcoin claims it's decentralized. No one knows who this Satoshi Nakamoto is, if there is even is such a person. So for all we know, Bitcoin is decentralized. But when it comes to other cryptos, it's they are and they aren't. You know,
Mm-hmm.
every crypto has at least a team of developers, if not exactly owners or companies behind, which always poses a certain amount of risk. I mean, just for example, look at Solana. It's still living, but Solana got hit tremendously by the bankruptcy of FTX. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if in reality things were decentralized, which as decentralized in a way, I mean, by the definition of the word decentralized, that these things shouldn't happen when it comes to a particular coin.
Yeah.
Obviously, all market got hit but I think that the whole market got hit because people lost some of their some of their hope or some of their trust. So they started selling their assets, and obviously that leads to prices dropping. But at the end of the day, most cryptos didn't take much damage from FTX dropping, except of course the FTX token. I'm not sure if it's FTT or what's it called. I don't know. That one got fell to zero. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
Solana got a major hit. I think there were a couple of others, but I can name them from the top of my head.
Sure. So, as you say, opinions will vary, but definitely from what you said, we can take that your faith in crypto long term is still there, and as you say, your faith in crypto as a technology, as an innovation, is still there. As it's just maybe certain users and maybe what they've done wrong in isolation, rather than the flaws with crypto itself.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
If we were to take that thinking and look back at the last year for crypto gambling specifically, so obviously we're here to talk about the casinos. You work with casinos as an affiliate.
Yeah.
If you were to kind of maybe do a short review of the last year, what have been the biggest trends? How have things grown? Because from where I'm sitting, obviously you've got big brands like Stake.com, and you've actually you could probably name a few big competitors of theirs, which means the market has developed. a couple of years ago, we maybe weren't quite in that situation yet.
Yeah. It's maybe the most interesting thing to see is that no matter where the crypto market itself goes, so in a matter of whether the prices go up or down, we're still viewing a trend of more and more casinos going crypto. That either means fully crypto, so they accept crypto only, and everything revolves around crypto, or they are fiat casinos adding cryptocurrency as a part of their payment methods. That's one thing. Another thing that we're seeing is that a lot of casinos, whether new or old, are adding new cryptocurrencies or crypto tokens to their available list of payment methods, which just goes to show that just like the crypto market itself, the crypto gambling market is evolving as well, and is looking to adapt and to sort of to expand into new markets. And by new markets here, I mean new cryptocurrencies or tokens. So basically to reach out to people that weren't able to gamble yet because they own certain tokens that weren't supported yet, for example. I know there are, maybe this is a downside to some of the casinos. I'm not going to point any brand out here. Obviously, sure. I don't want to make everyone look bad, but obviously almost every casino is dependent on the software behind it. Now, for some crypto casinos, they develop their own software. So how you can recognize those brands is basically, they are usually the ones who support the most cryptos. Yeah, but then we have the other part of the casino world who depend on the software that runs their casino, basically. And by extension, that means that they don't exactly have a free choice of which cryptos to add to their casino. If they're supported in the software, they can add them, otherwise they can't. But one thing that I've heard of multiple times, and I'm glad that's the situation, is that the casinos have been pressing or putting some pressure on these software developers to make additional coins and tokens available for them, because people are asking about them. You can see, even if you look, for example, at CoinMarketCap or some other website, you can see that the top 10 or especially top 100 is constantly shifting. It's a living thing. If you look at it today and if you look at it the next month, there could be completely different coins and tokens on the same list, right? So it just goes to show that there's a lot of people out there who are still entering the market, and there's a lot of people out there who are willing to use and to test and to try out new coins, new tokens. And obviously that just means that the crypto casino and the crypto gambling world needs to be really careful and needs to adapt really quickly in order to answer to all this demand. Because one token might be popular today, which means that if casinos today added them and made them available to people might play. But if we wait, I don't know, if we have to wait 6 months for this whole process to go through, for casinos to add these payments, the whole hype might be over. People might transition to other coins, and basically there was a chance lost for all the casinos, for the affiliates, for the whole industry in this regard. I mean, obviously it's not game over, because people usually tend to just shift from one currency to the other. But still, I think that perhaps one interesting thing is to see is that I think last year, among all casinos that we offer on our website, at least, there was one brand who really stood out by offering, I think it was 50 or 60 plus different cryptocurrencies, which was baffling at the time already, because there was, for example, when I looked at the list of those coins, I remember saying to myself, my God, I've never seen most of them before. Where do you find these coins? But apparently this is one way to go if you want to be sort of if you want to expand into crypto, if you don't just want to battle with the biggest brands when it comes to Bitcoin, because almost every casino nowadays supports Bitcoin. So if you want to join into the crypto hype when it comes to gambling, you should expand into the some of the smaller coins. And I think
Yeah.
this
So just
same brand
housing
had,
more, housing, you know, more
yeah,
and more
yeah,
currencies.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that some of the brands this year came to 100+ different tokens supported already, which is, I mean, it's interesting. It's almost impossible for me to follow. I can't imagine what it must be like for players and for the casinos themselves.
Yeah, I mean, with some of those maybe smaller currencies, would you have a situation maybe where it's not worth maybe the cost of housing it because there's that few users, or do you think there's always a benefit?
Hmm. That's an interesting question. I think the answer again depends on the casino and the software they're using. I think if for those casinos who have their own developers and their own software, I think it's not a big deal for them to add another currency,
Sure.
unless this currency was using some completely different technology in the background. But that rarely happens. Mostly, I mean, a lot of these tokens, for example, are on the Ethereum chain, which means if you support Ethereum, it shouldn't be much effort to be able to add others. But once again, when it comes to casinos who have a third-party software in the background, which is the majority of casinos,
Yeah.
um, I'm not sure exactly how that functions. To be honest, I don't want to say something wrong here, but I know that in order for that software to add another currency, it takes a lot more work compared to whether the casino owns their own software and runs it themselves. So I'm not sure, but apparently, I mean, just based on my sort of my opinion on or my feeling of things, I'd say it is, or apparently it is a lot of effort to add a coin, because I know, for example, if you take Soft Swiss, it's quite a big company, right?
Yeah.
And I know it. I think they added two or three altcoins this year to their repertoire, which is still rather small compared to what other casinos are offering. But I mean, for example, from a brand so large, you'd expect that wouldn't be much of an issue to do that. Obviously, of course, I'm not sure whether this is the way they want to do it, whether they're focusing on other stuff, and maybe that's the reason why they're not adding them. I don't know. I don't want to be too judgmental, but they're not the only ones.
Yeah.
So basically, my conclusion from this was that apparently it's not the easiest or the fastest thing to do for the big brands. Meanwhile, some of the smaller, actually, no, that's not right, because they're not small anymore. But some of the crypto brands which tend to rely on their own software have proven that this is fairly easy to do. You can find casinos who add a new token or coin every week. Obviously, they tend to add, and then maybe they stop offering some other coins because they either run out of traffic, they I don't know, they cease to exist. I mean, that happens.
Yeah.
But still, I think for those players who like to keep their portfolio options open and who like to experiment, then
The
I
more
mean
the
they
better.
really
The more the
should.
better for them.
Yeah, the more the better, obviously, and they should be
Yeah.
looking at brands who are crypto only and brands who have their own software. They're
Yeah.
not many, but still, they're not that few, and you have more and more coming every year.
So definitely interesting to hear about the number of different coins and cryptos that casinos can offer. But if we're looking generally at the back at the last year, are there any high points and maybe also low points that you can think of in terms of crypto gambling?
Maybe. So the first high point that comes to mind is I've noticed that a lot of, or maybe I'm not going to say a lot. I don't have any specific numbers, but I've
Yeah.
noticed that some crypto casinos have started developing their own games, or
Yeah.
had someone else to develop games only for them, whichever. Which goes to show that there is such a thing as crypto games, apparently. At first, I was skeptical. I'm not sure if you heard about any of that, but I know that Dice and Crash I'm not sure if you know those casino games.
Well, I think you have written about them for Trafficology. So yeah, I do remember that ringing a bell.
Yeah, I did mention them a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I know that Crash and Dice, for example, have been developed in the crypto gambling community. Apparently, there was some demand from crypto players to get something new, something a bit different, and those are the games that came up. And now to this repertoire, casinos are adding more and more unique games. But the sort of the main highlight here is that all these games are obviously unique to the casino that hosts them, and they are almost always provably fair. That means they are always including the feature that allows players to sort of verify the round of the game they're playing, whether it's fair, whether it wasn't set up, and so on. So that's one of the highlights. I think that I like that the casinos are moving into this direction, because it goes to show that they are listening to what players are saying, or at least a part of players are saying.
And I guess maybe it makes it a bit more bespoke as well to actually have products that are purely crypto related.
Yeah. I mean, I think that when it comes to things like this, the crypto community is. I wanted to say spoiled. I don't want to sound rude, but I think they are a bit more demanding when it comes to this.
Sure.
Because they're used to. I think that the way the crypto players think is like, you got fiat players, but no, that's not us. We're crypto players, okay?
Right.
Give us anonymity, give us transparency, give us fast transactions, give us low fees. Yeah, remove all third-party software and game providers and payment providers and whatnot, and that's the products that they're after. And the same thing goes for games. They like games when where they have the upper hand, or at least as much as obviously they can. So that's where the whole provably fair concept came from.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to say that the crypto players have a point. It's just sort of a direction where the things are moving. The crypto players are sticking to their own message and to their own what's right, and they are demanding certain products and services and way of operating from casinos. And I think that's the right thing to do. I mean, if we affiliates and if casinos agree that the crypto is the future, or at least a part of it, then that's the proper way to go. There will always be a crypto casino gambling market and crypto casino community made up from players. So I think it's a logical next step to incorporate into casinos the products that crypto players are after. Another such service perhaps is I'm not sure if you've seen anything like this before, but quite a few casinos already have that. It's the sort of a how should I call this? Sort of a group live chat, or a live chat for the whole casino. In majority of casinos, especially fiat casinos, we're used to live chat being used exclusively for support. It's a one-on-one thing. You write something in there. You have an agent on the other side who's giving you answers.
And then you keep everyone separate as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I'm not saying that's the same thing. It has its uses. Players need to have their own privacy and need to be able to tell whatever they think is going wrong to the agent on the other side. But we've seen casinos adding sort of these public live chats where players can turn to one another either for support, either for motivation, either to share their winnings, to share their losings, whatever they feel is good. And then the casinos are making a whole loyalty programs or systems out of this by giving players with higher levels sort of more options what to do there, to share, I don't know, different emojis, different animations, to receive raindrops they call them. So basically free crypto. It's usually not in large sums, but still, players like to. Everyone likes to get free stuff. Yeah, exactly. Let me think if there's any other high points. Obviously, what we've talked before, so that more and more casinos are adding crypto, and more crypto casinos are adding more and more coins and tokens, even smaller ones. So I think that's another high point. When it comes to low points, I can think of maybe one or two. One being the fact that we've also noticed some casinos stepping back or stepping away from crypto. I'm not sure whether that's because they got afraid, because we're in the bearish market right now, and they're not sure what that's going to mean for their players, for the cryptos the players deposit and leave in the casino. So we're always sad to see that, but I guess there will always be a fraction of casinos who tend to rely more on fiat, and honestly, I can't blame them. It's a direction they choose. As long as there are more casinos adding crypto than casinos removing crypto, we're happy, and all trends are still going that way. So, okay, maybe that's another high point right there. Another low point, perhaps, is something I think that the whole crypto community is being a part of, not just crypto gambling, but crypto in general. For example, last year and at the beginning of this year, we were still witness to a lot of influencers and streamers making their own claims about what to buy, what is good, what is not good, sort of trying to manipulate the market and players and crypto holders in general to do one thing or another. And I think that the same trend is present in the crypto gambling as well. You have both influencers and streamers who don't talk just about crypto in general, but talk about gambling with crypto in casinos, obviously, and betting with crypto. And when you hear that there are streamers who've been faking their playing, right? Who had either fake accounts, fake assets. I don't know exactly how they do it in the background. It's sort of an unfair thing to do to not just crypto players, but to all casino players in general. I mean, you're giving them false hope, and whether I'm not saying where there is none. Obviously, it's always gambling. But if you are a streamer who achieves winnings just because you're able to fake the results, that kind of defeats the whole purpose. Because I think the players are turning to the streamers because obviously everybody likes to see people win. But everybody likes to see people win because it's not easy to win, because there's gamble, because there's risk, because there's certain luck involved. Now, when players see that someone has taken all that out, that sort of, I think it makes them lose trust and hope, just the same as people lose trust and hope at the beginning of this interview when we talked about the exchange crashing. It's sort of the same at the end of the day. It's a dark spot on the whole crypto community or crypto gambling community.
Yeah, and as you say, trust is the big issue there. That crypto is perhaps not quite as high in ranking as highly in as maybe other industries.
Yeah, I think that when it comes to trust, crypto is even more volatile. See, I can even use this term again here because maybe again because there isn't yet any regulation in play, or it's not that there isn't any. It's still in development, right? A lot of countries have in the moment still have no particular stand on the crypto. It's a legal gray market, and think of it what you will. And that sort of makes, I mean, on one hand, it makes people trust crypto more because they say, okay, it's decentralized, right? No one, my country can't force me to do something with it. There are no or low taxes. There are no companies behind it who can influence the price on the market just by trying to make more profit or whatever they're doing in the background. But at the same time, there are no measurements, there are no regulations in check that would prevent anything bad from happening, just like it did with this exchange. And I think the crypto is even more susceptible to these things when it comes to trust. Because I'm trying to figure I'm trying to think of a similar thing happening in the fiat market or in the economy market in general, but I really can't, because I don't know. You have some bad things happening, people trying to steal money, finding loopholes, but at the end of the day, at least when it comes to normal people, to, I mean, not large companies, but to people, to players, to everyday people, they are at least in one way insured that whatever
Yeah.
happens, their assets are somewhat secure, or even if they aren't, there's always something you can do to try to get them back, to get refunded. There's no such thing in crypto, right? At least not, yeah, there's nothing you can do. Even if
There's no
if an
safety
exchange,
blanket.
yeah, if an exchange crashes, what are you going to do? There's no one who's going to give you those assets back. Or if you, God forbid, make a mistake and send your assets to the wrong address, there's no way back. See, there's no
Yeah.
bank you can call and ask for a refund. No such thing. So pros and cons of crypto market, but still, I think that the technology itself, which is nowadays used to, or at least people see that it's mostly used to make transactions,
Yeah.
is, I think, a lot more powerful than this, and holds a lot more in store that we've seen so far. So I think when the whole community, when the whole crypto market develops a bit more, it will be interesting to see what sort of products they can make out of all this blockchain technology, which might result in adding different products in casinos themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, who isn't to say that casinos couldn't have, for example, NFTs of their own? And I'm not talking about NFTs in the form of images that are selling online. I'm talking about something that players can actually use to benefit their playing, to benefit their, I don't know, VIP statuses, their bonuses, their unique games, unique features inside games, you name it. It opens a whole world of endless possibilities, which we haven't tapped in so far, but it's interesting to think about what is possible, and I'm just hoping we'll be able to see some innovations as soon as possible. Maybe,
Sure.
maybe not this year, because it's almost December,
But yeah, in the
next
future.
year, hopefully.
Yeah. No, I think that's looking ahead like that. I think that's a great note to end on, actually. And thanks very much for your time and your answers, Adam. And I think a year of growth, a year of pros and cons for crypto, but definitely, as you say, enough for us to follow with intrigue. What happens maybe next year.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe just as a final statement,
Yeah.
It's wonderful to see that even though we're in a bearish market, the crypto gambling community is still flourishing. It's still going forward. So maybe that's a message we can take into the next year of crypto gambling. Thanks for having me. Thanks for taking the time to make this interview, and I hope I was able to give some interesting information or insight into what was happening this year.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, thanks very much. You certainly were able to do that. And we'll look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Okay. Thank you.